Hello, you're welcome back to Knit Strings Millionaires Club. I'm glad that you clicked on this video because I'm about to spill the tea. This fascinator on my head, yes, will be giving you practical tutorials step by step on how to recreate exactly. And if you're just joining me for the first time, I share millinery tips, tricks, hacks, and business lessons to help new millionaires to shorten their journey to becoming pro millionaires. Now, speaking about new millionaires, I have something special for new millionaires and self-taught millionaires. So just stick around and watch till the end of the video. I'll see you by the time you come back.
Now the materials. We have half-inch silver ribbon, hairband, bendable millinery wire, butterflies in different shapes and sizes, flower heads in shimmery silver, E7000, uhu gum, scissors, pliers, candle gun and the gum, measuring tape. Now to proceed, we're going to measure out 12 inches length of the bendable millinery wire. You can make use of the brown copper wire that we're used to, it will do the same job. So once we get the measurement, we cut it out with our pliers and move ahead to measure different other lengths. So we're going to be measuring 12 inches, 16 inches, 20, 24 and 28. That's 5 pieces of wires. The difference in the length of these wires are actually 4 inches. So now we're going to wrap each of the wires with the silver ribbon. First we apply uhu gum to the tip and then we slant the ribbon, holding it tight so that it will dry at that tip, and then we proceed to start wrapping it all the way to the length of the wire. So while wrapping, it's important to apply uhu gum at intervals. This will make sure the wire stays intact so that it doesn't begin to unravel. Now we're done with this, we'll seal it up at the tip with uhu gum and repeat this wrapping process for all the other wires. So now I've wrapped all the wires in the different...
Are you a millionaire who knows the craft but struggle with premium finishing? Or do you find yourself attracting clients who complain, negotiate endlessly and don't appreciate your work? You want to charge premium to attract high value and international clients, but you lack the confidence and business wisdom to position yourself as a premium brand. Hi, I'm Mary Atora, the Creative Director at Knit Strings Limited with 16 years millinery industry experience. Let me show you how I overcame these challenges and more. Join me for 1 month in our Knit Strings online millinery mentorship program, where I'll teach you how to master luxury finishing techniques, structure your millinery business for high profit, attract and retain high value and international clients consistently. Also, practical tutorial for a brand new millinery design. As a special bonus, you receive 20% membership discount on our online courses for the next 1 year. This program will be held on Telegram. We have early bird offer for the first 10 students. Check the description below this ad for more details.
Lengths. Now get a round cylindrical container just like so, and I'm just about to create the spirals. This is just how I'm going to do this. Remember, the wire is bendable. You might get a wire that is not as bendable, but you have to apply pressure. That's the only way you can get it to form a spiral. So after wrapping, you can still pull it out just in case you don't want your spirals to be too tight. I want them a little bit loose, that's why I'm stretching it. So this same process can be done if you want narrower or tighter spirals. You can get a more slimmer cylindrical container and to do the same thing for you. Important thing is when you're done with your spiraling, you can still manipulate it with your fingers. So I'll do this for the rest of them, and then we're now going to apply them to the hairband and begin designing. So now in this process, I'm just going to carefully place each of the wires using my eye. I'll decide how wide or how close I will place the wires and basically just walk in a random artistic way. There is no formula to doing this. So this particular place, I have to stitch it up. That's the only way to secure it. So if you get hold of perhaps paper peg or paper clips or regular clothing pegs, it could help you to temporarily hold your wires onto your hairband while you stitch them in place. So like in this case, there are two different positions where the wires should be attached to the hairband. So I could attach one with my needle and thread while I'll hold on to the other one with a peg so that I don't lose the position that I am trying to achieve. So stitching this is very important. You have to stitch it as many times as possible to secure it, because if you don't, they will tend to wobble. Getting a right position is really where the whole drama of this kind of headpiece lies. So now that I'm done stitching, I want to make this needle to go down to the bottom part of the hairband. So I just simply need to sew it through the fabric of the hairband and just take it downwards instead of having to cut the thread and begin stitching all over again. I'm passing this through the fabric while I sew it down to the bottom. So I'm just going to allow you watch this process and see how I do the stitching. So basically what I'm doing here is to stitch all the wires down to the hairband. It's also important to note that while I had picked up random sizes of the curled wires, there's no particular size that I would say that I used to place in the first and second. I would most likely feel like it was probably the 24-inch wire or the 28-inch wire, because I picked up one of the long ones. So like I said, this is a random design. There's no rule to it. The important thing is that by the time you start stitching, you take a look at it and make sure that the wires do not begin and end at the same place. They should have different positions, because that will help to create different textures. So you see where I'm putting this one. This is probably the 20-inch wire, I'm guessing, from the length I can see, and I just picked them up randomly and then just sew them up. So while you sew the wires to the hairband, you still need to attach it like so. You still need to attach the wires together, otherwise they wobble. You can see how this one is falling flat, because definitely the wires are not going to sit properly. They need some kind of anchoring. So I'm using my hand to hold it down while I secure it to the base, but the ones that are floating on top, they still need to be well secured. Applying candle gum will help this to further strengthen where it was stitched. Yeah, I'm just going to allow you to watch the rest of the process while you appreciate the positioning. So another thing to note is, for this kind of fascinator, it's actually an artistic piece, and in artistic pieces, to recreate the exact position of the spiral element, like you can see in this fascinator, might not be entirely 100% plausible, because these are just random positioning. There's no calculated way to place one spiral the same position as the other. So if I were told to recreate this piece exactly as it is, I'll tell my client that it will not be 100% possible, because the elements in this spiral design have different angles in which they were positioned, and there's no way to get the positioning to be the exact same way if I were to recreate it. The whole idea is to have this measurement that you already have, just like we have in the video, and work with the spirals. Make sure that as you're putting them down and stitching them, you still put them on your head and see the outcome. See if you like to have the spiral to move upwards towards your head, towards the top of your head, or you want it to move a little bit downwards. It all depends. Although, as a general rule, it's always better to have the bulk of your design on the topmost part of your head more than on the side, so that it will create that illusion of tallness and also give you balance that will flatter any fascinator or flatter you wearing that particular fascinator. So I'm sure that you're enjoying the stitching and how we're positioning these elements. So that's actually the foundation of this style. Once we're done with the stitching, we're going to round it up, secure it tightly by applying candle gum to those places. And then for the elements that are floating, those wires that are floating, we'll now have to work on them. So anyone can see we have gotten a shape that is pretty much okay. I've already tested this and it looks so nice on my head. So now I'm just going to finish up the tip of the wires, especially where the ribbons are wrapped, so that they don't unravel. Now, to hold on to the floating element, we'll use transparent thread and we'll just hold on to wires that are adjacent to each other and tie it up. Once we tie it up, we knot it, make sure that it's tight. You can watch how I'm knotting this here. You can see we're making use of transparent thread because we want to create an illusion that the wires are floating and there's nothing that is anchoring it. So that's why we're using transparent thread as against, the regular thread. So then after tying it up, we'll apply E7000 and that will help it hold stronger. We'll attach all the other adjacent points and then cut off the excess threads by the time they are dry. Now our fascinator is about 70% ready. The next thing is to wrap the hairband in the same silver ribbon. So watch closely and see how we'll give this fascinator a very beautiful, neat and premium finishing. Now we've sealed it up neatly, you can see how beautiful the fascinator is already looking. Even without butterflies and flowers, this fascinator is good to go. Now to attach the flower heads, this particular one is made of styrofoam and I'm making use of the back of the needle to open it up very well so that I can put in E7000 and make it act as a flower head. I'll apply the same glue on the tip of the wires and fix it in just like so. I'll repeat this process for all the other pointed tips of the wires, and then for the butterflies I'll still make use of E7000. So once I apply E7000 at the base of the butterfly, I also apply it to the wires and then I'll allow it to dry for at least a minute or so. So I've fixed all the other flower heads. Now the butterflies are ready to go onto the wires. So I will do this for the different sizes of butterflies, positioning them in different directions and patterns. This all aids in the beauty and the look of the final fascinator. So now we're done fixing. The fascinator is almost ready. Now I'm just going to test this and see how good it looks. I just tested it, but I realized that the fascinator is slipping off my head. So I'm making use of this shiny velvet ribbon. I want to apply it right at the center, the inner center of the hairband. This will help to grip the fascinator hairband on my head so that it doesn't slip off, when I'm moving or when I'm dancing. It happens a lot with fascinators that have a little bit of weight. Remember that we're working with wires, so we don't want anything that will make the fascinator to feel heavy or to fall down. It doesn't mean that this fascinator is heavy. This fascinator is really light, but we want that extra grip. So now our fascinator is ready. It's so ready and it's so beautiful. That's the grip over there. Now I can't wait to try this on. This is amazing.
Do you see how easy that was? From afar, it looks so complicated, like something only a pro milliner can do. You can always recreate this. So even if you don't get the exact same butterflies or the exact same flowers, just look for alternatives. The bottom line is that you have gotten the technique and you can create it in different variations. Okay, so speaking about the mentorship, yes, our mentorship is going to begin January and to run through the end of February. So if you've always wanted me to mentor you and you've always wanted that clear guidance so you can command good pricing for your products, then you should be in this mentorship. Stop guessing, stop wondering, like I'm here to help. You can get information about the mentorship on the link in our description box, and also you can chat us on WhatsApp and we'll give you more details. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, you are on a long thing. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our future videos, and I'll see you in the next class. God bless and happy crafting.